Yes, all right. Welcome back to Kosi's Arsenal podcast. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to yet another brand new live stream. Not upload this time, another brand new live stream. And just don't know how happy I am. My name is Kosi. We're going to be discussing some of the latest reports around Arsenal, especially those around transfers, because there's a big story, by the way. There's a big story that has been written by coachoffside.com. They are saying Arsenal hope to wrap up the Ashraf Hakimi deal as soon as possible. I'm going to share that with you, um, and a lot more. So all you have to do is to subscribe to the channel, smash for me the like button, get your subscriptions in. That is all. So go down in the comments and tell me what you think about Ashraf Hakimi. If you do not know about Ashraf Hakimi, I'll do a video, an in-depth analysis about Ashraf Hakimi and try to relate what Ashraf Hakimi can, provide us with, and why I think for me he would be the perfect player. In terms of quality and in terms of talent. Economically, I would have gone with Tariq Lamptey, but I'm going to be discussing that and more anyway. I have a couple of stories to discuss, and I'm just going to run you through the agenda. I'll talk about Ashraf Hakimi, Hakan Karanoglu, another player that is really, really talented. I'm a very big fan of Hakan Karanoglu, and I'm going to tell you what has been written around Arsenal and Hakan Karanoglu. Would he be a good deal anyway? There is some shocking news around our injury status, especially around Kian Tierney. I'm also going to be discussing that in detail. So why not subscribe to the channel? If you would like to support me, I mean, anything like internet, or you want to buy me StreamYard, use the numbers in the description. Really means a lot. And I want to thank two people who have already sent me some money to buy internet. That is Emmy, thank you so much, as well as Peter De Rock, thank you so much, and a couple of other people that have already supported me. Moses Sally, thank you so much. It really, really means a lot. Let's get the party started anyway. Where do we start? Let me start with the injury status around us. Now then we can delve into the transfers, because that's where we will get the phone in, and you guys would give me your opinions, and I'll read your comments about the transfer. So it's been confirmed David Louis is going to get a knee surgery. Of course, he had a bad injury. I think he's got a bad injury. He missed the Liverpool game, and all of us thought, because I was fuming, by the way, because I was like, why is David Louis out of the squad? But it seems it's going to be a little bit serious. Mikel Arteta said he might miss a couple of weeks. He might be out for a couple of weeks, but it looks like he might be out for the end of the season. So it doesn't look so good with David Louis. But the most disheartening news is around Kian Tierney, who has been reported as well to be badly affected by the injury. And the rumors are that both players could actually miss crucial games for us. That is especially in the Europa League. And for me, Kian Tierney is the key player there, because with centre back partnerships, you have a couple of options there. Chambers can come in. Rob Holding is there. Of course, he looked so sloppy on the Liverpool game. Gabriel Magalhaes is there as well, as he looked so sloppy as well, but he's there. Your Pablo Mari there, but the problem for me there is Kian Tierney is irreplaceable. We saw Cedric when he came on against Liverpool. He was shit. He was poor. He just can't play down that left hand side, and I don't know why Arsenal have got this kind of comfort that they have a backup player in Cedric, because he can fit himself there. He's not that kind of player. He never plays. As a left back. He's not a left back. He's a left back that is using the right foot, and he's easy to get exploited. You could see how Trent Alexander-Arnold was on a holiday when he was introduced on the pitch. So Tierney is injured. He could miss a couple of games. David Louis could miss the rest of the season. That is all I had to talk about the injury status at Arsenal. Any questions? I'll be glad to answer them as the show goes on. So let us delve into the story of the day, which has been written by Coach Offside, like I said, and they are saying Arsenal could be very close to wrapping up their first deal of Ashraf Hakimi a right back from Inter Milan, one of the most interesting and phenomenal talents we saw last season at Borussia Dortmund. Dortmund, of course, having not having the capacity to sign him, he had to move to Inter Milan for around 40 million pounds. And Inter being in a shocking financial situation, they're looking to cash in on the player, and Arsenal is interested. This story really started as a joke, and I'm gonna say it started like a joke because I was believing Arsenal are not going to go for Achraf Hakimi. It's a story we wouldn't do. It's a story we were not going to do. So I was contented in that area. I was contented that Arsenal were never going to do that deal of Achraf Hakimi. However, ever since the January transfer window, reports have been claiming that Arsenal will go for Achraf Hakimi. And so many reports have been actually written around Arsenal and Achraf Hakimi. We've been linked with two popular right backs. The first one is Achraf Hakimi, and then the other is Tariq Lamptey. And many Arsenal fans really love Tariq Lamptey, I know, because I've seen time in and time again Arsenal fans saying, we want to get Achraf Hakimi. We need to get Achraf Hakimi, but we want Tariq Lamptey. So, it's a little bit of a debate. Where do Arsenal go from here? Do we go for Achraf Hakimi or do we go for Tariq Lamptey? And that's the first question I would love to ask you guys. Who is the better player there? Is it Achraf Hakimi or is it Tariq Lamptey? I'm going to discuss my opinion there, but it is entirely my opinion, and I'm entitled to my opinion, so I want to get your opinion as well on Achraf Hakimi and the situation around Tariq Lamptey. So I'm gonna share this. I'm gonna share my screen with you guys so that you could see what actually where I'm actually picking this story, because it's fascinating. It's really fascinating. If we brought in Achraf Hakimi, it would be a remarkable transfer decision from Arsenal. Really, really remarkable. I'm telling you. So let us try to read this. I hope you guys will be able to read with me. I just hope you will be able to read with me. So they're saying the report states Arsenal hope to wrap up a deal for Hakimi as soon as possible, though Inter may demand around 50 million euros to let him go. With Hector Bellerin no longer looking for at his best for Arsenal, this seems a fine move by Mikel Arteta if he can pull it off. Hakimi first caught the eye during a spell on loan at Borussia Dortmund from Real Madrid, and the Spanish giants must be regretting letting him go. So that is what has been written, and up here you can see the headline is "Bid prepared as to line up firm offer to sign a 50 million rated star as soon as possible." Story written by Mark Bryce, so you could actually follow him on Twitter there. And they're saying Arsenal reportedly preparing a firm transfer offer for Inter Milan right back Achraf Hakimi ahead of the transfer summer. The Morocco international has shown himself to be one of the finest in Europe in this position, and is now emerging as top priority target for Gunners, according to the AS. So there we go, guys. There we go, lads. We've seen this story. We have read it together. It is written by CodeOffside.com. And the biggest question there, by the way, big up Larry, big up Lyric. I'm good. I'm really good. I would love to have you on the show, and I will have you on the show later on. But the biggest question there is, can we sign a right back that is rated at 50 million euros? Yes, we've seen Arsenal trying to spend money in the past 3 or 4 windows. We have been buying a major, I don't want to call it a major, but we've been buying a high price player, because last summer we bought Thomas Partey. Before that summer, we had brought in Pepe for 72 million pounds. Partey is 45 million pounds. We triggered the release clause. Before that, we had brought in, I think, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, if you still remember, another high price player. So we've been bringing in these high price players, every transfer window, and I love it. I really do love it, because if you want to build a project, you've got to splash the money. These days, there are no questions about it. You've got to splash the money. So I really love the fact that we've started these this trend of splashing money around. But the question is, are we going to splash 50 million euros on Achraf Hakimi? Because Inter would want to make some profit. They bought him at 40 million pounds from Real Madrid after having a very nice spell at BVB last season. So they brought him in, and he's a remarkable player. He's a very good player. Look, if it's not for the money, I would take him over Tariq Lamptey, because I believe, the beauty with Lamptey is he's so young and he knows the Premier League. He's promising a lot. But Achraf Hakimi is at that level you want. And I said it before, if you still remember, that the difference the two have is Achraf Hakimi is at that level where you want him to be. Tariq Lamptey is striving to get to that level where you want me to be. That's the difference. The experience, the experience that Hakimi brings is not the same amount of experience you're gonna get from a player like Tariq Lamptey, who has had a very nice spell at Brighton, but needs a couple of seasons to prove. Hakimi has played this season at Inter Milan. He's played last season at BVB, and he was phenomenal at BVB. This season, he's playing with Inter Milan, and they're almost winning the title in the Italian Serie A. I don't like Inter Milan. I like AC Milan there, but of course that's a it could be a discussion for the Cosi 90 more, and what happened to Milan as well as what happened to us. Now we'll discuss on that on Cosi 90 more. Make sure you've subscribed to the channel there. But it's a story that's unbelievable. It's hard to believe that Arsenal are going to splash 50 million pounds on Achraf Hakimi, but he would be the perfect guy, because what you get with Hakimi is a right winger who is a right back. So you look, because I said this before on this channel, that if you're looking to get modern playing tactics, you've got to get the players that can play modern football. That means you've got to have the right fullbacks. Tierney is there, and you could see that you can see the imbalance between Tierney and any player of Arsenal who plays in the right back. There's a big space. There's a big space. Tierney is far ahead when you look at his crossing, when you look at his defending, when you look at his passing, when you look at how he involves in the game. Tierney is a class ahead, is a class apart. Bellerin is not there. Chambers is not there. Cedric is not there. So we don't have a right back that can play modern football. And if you're going to stay with Mikel Arteta, you need that kind of player, because Arteta is copying and pasting Manchester City's style of play. City are playing Joao Cancelo and Kyle Walker. The difference between Cancelo and Walker as compared to Kian Tierney and Chambers is vast, is big. So for me, that's the reason as why, first and foremost, we need a player in the names of Achraf Hakimi, because he is at that level. You've got to trust me. He's there. Arsenal just need to do whatever it takes to get him. But the price tag, I don't know how much Inter Milan are willing to reduce on that asking price, but it's big. It's big. 50 million pounds would be very, very big. And I think if Inter are really in a bad position, they will reduce that money. But they're not going to reduce it below 40 million pounds or 45 million pounds, because they bought the player at 40 million pounds from Real Madrid. And reports actually say they have not paid that money. That's where the problem is. Reports say they have not paid that money fully to Real Madrid. So they want to sell the player, get some profit, but also pay back Real Madrid. So it's either going to be 45 million or 47 or 48 or 50 million pounds. That's the region Achraf Hakimi could actually cost us. And the big question there is, Arsenal, who is Arsenal going to pay this money, depending on our business model? I told you we've been paying at least 45 million and above for one player in the past summers or in the past transfer windows. But are we going to splash that money on a right back? Big question there, and I would want to know your opinions. Do we go for Achraf Hakimi, or would you splash that money? Would you spend that money on a midfielder? Big question there. Big question. Where would you spend that money? And talking about midfielders there, we've been linked with two that I wish to discuss, and I'm also going to discuss the situation of Lucas Torreira in this video as well. So let me start with Hakan Calhanoglu, who's been linked with Arsenal, and reports are saying, because United wanted to tie him down on a pre-contract until the summer, and then they failed. So AC Milan are struggling to extend his contract. The player wants to leave. The player wants to go. And Manchester United look like the potential target because they want him. But I don't see why United would go for his signature. I don't know why they would go for a player like Hakan Calhanoglu, because they have the perfect player in Bruno Fernandes, who gives you what Hakan Calhanoglu gives. If you've watched AC Milan, or if you followed him before at Bayer Leverkusen, you know what he provides. He's that kind of number 10 that is more like a Bruno Fernandes kind of player, controls games, breaks through lines, kind of Martin Odegaard player. Kind of Martin Odegaard player. So Arsenal could get him on a free deal, on a free transfer. It would be a good deal. I love Hakan Calhanoglu. I hope you guys saw him against United. If you watched the game, so I love Calhanoglu. I love him as a player. We would get him on a free deal. I don't know how much Arsenal is interested, but Chelsea and Arsenal, according to reports, are interested in Hakan Calhanoglu, and I hope that deal matures anyway. If it matures, then I'll be giving you more of the updates there. So, still talking about the midfield options and situation at Arsenal. Lucas Torreira confirmed that he's not going to be playing, or he doesn't want to play in Europe anymore. He wants to play at Boca Juniors after the passing of his mother, RIP. Much respect to her. So he confirmed that he doesn't want to play in Europe anymore. He wants to go back to South America, and particularly he wants to play with Boca Juniors. I think he's a very talented player, very, very talented. The time we've seen him at Arsenal, we think he's one of those players that do not deserve to be treated the way they were treated. They don't deserve to be treated the way they were treated. I think he deserved better. He deserved more. For me, he was remarkable as a player. Very, very, very remarkable as a player. He's now out on loan with Atletico Madrid. He's out on loan with Atletico Madrid, and he's not going to be coming back at the Emirates Stadium. He's not the kind of player Mikel Arteta would use. That's the truth. Not the kind of player Mikel Arteta would use, because Arteta likes this kind of these kinds of player that are always going to be on the press, and Torreira is not so much of a pressing player. He doesn't have those attributes. However much for me, I think he's a phenomenal player. Really, 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 phenomenal player. But just to be honest, I think he needs to go. He's struggling in Europe, the language and so many things. He needs to go. Let him go. Try to settle down, get his career moving again. And then I hope the best for him. Lucas Torreira. He's not going to be in Europe, so we need a replacement there. He's not been playing with Arsenal. I also hope Mohamed El Neni leaves the club as well. Dani Ceballos. So, of course, it's going to be an interesting summer to see. Arsenal are desperately in need of a midfielder. Actually, two midfielders. But who comes in? I don't want to be there, and then they say Arsenal signed Saint Maxim for Newcastle. So that is going to be bullshit. You need the quality, and we have already said this. We need the quality. Arsenal need to bring in that kind of quality that many clubs have now. Because if Everton are lining up James Rodriguez and Alan and Abdoulaye Doucouré, that's quality. That is quality. You can't if you're Arsenal, you can't line up. You can't line up Mohamed El Neni. You can't line up Ceballos. They're not good enough. We've got to accept reality. The bitter reality is our midfielders are not good enough. I won't talk about Granit Xhaka because I have so many people who love Granit Xhaka here, and you're gonna start, the ranting in the chat, and they don't want that. So I won't talk about Xhaka. But the truth is, our midfielders are not good enough, and we need to get the quality there. So Lucas Torreira is confirmed. He wants to go to Boca Juniors. I don't know whether he's going to go on a free. I don't know how much they're going to give us, but let's wait for the summer and see how much of that is going to be true. The other story I want to discuss is Martin Odegaard PSG is interested. Now, this is one that breaks breaks your heart. PSG interested in Martin Odegaard. Mauricio Pochettino says he's a big fan of the player. He would want to take him at PSG. And if Real Madrid actually, because I think where it became, where it becomes disheartening is Real Madrid want Mbappe. PSG have Mbappe, and if PSG want Odegaard, it would be an easy deal to do. Odegaard goes this side, Mbappe goes this side, and then money bags are exchanged. So for me now, by now, and I'm telling you this as a person who's been following this deal, for me now it's clear that Arsenal have a chance to sign Martin Odegaard. It's very, very clear. Madrid are not interested in Odegaard. They're interested in a big profile move for either Erling Haaland, or if they can get in a player like if they can get him a player like Kylian Mbappe, they're interested in a big profile move, but they do not have the money. They have, I don't know whether it's a loss or a deficit of 700 million, 737 million. So if you're looking at that, Madrid will want money. Madrid will want to sell because they need the money. But the biggest question you've got to ask yourself as an Arsenal fan is, how much of that money is Arsenal willing to pay? Because Madrid is going to ask for 50 million. Are we going to pay that money? If you're going to pay it, well and good. Then we are good to go. But if you're not going to pay it, then Martin Odegaard could actually go to PSG. But that story is there, and I don't want to give it a lot of sense, because it could be the agent trying to force Arsenal to buy, because Arsenal is so reluctant. But if you have stories coming in from PSG and Bayern and Chelsea, because he's been linked with Chelsea before, probably there could be stories engineered by the Martin Odegaard camp, trying to tell us, guy, bro, what are you doing? Get this guy. This guy is doing wonders for you. What are you waiting for? So I think that could be the deal. That could be the option. And lastly, the other player we've been linked with today, I don't know whether you guys have seen other stories, but these are the stories I've seen. Is Christopher Nkunku. Now Nkunku is playing with the RB Leipzig, and I did a story about him, and I will do a story about Christopher Nkunku if the links get any more serious. I'll do a story about him. What is interesting about Nkunku is, for me, his ability to move the ball forward at that very, very interesting, pace. He would be a very good player to partner up Thomas Partey, but you need a number 10, ahead of him, because Nkunku does not create so many chances. He's not a kind of House Semowa. No, he's not that. He doesn't score many goals. He's not that. He's not a Madison kind of player. He is more of a Yuri Tielemans. Yeah, Yuri Tielemans. Not in Ndombele, really, because Ndombele is a little bit slow in his in his playing style. But Nkunku would be a very good player to fit at Arsenal. Very, very good player. So what do you think about all these transfers and all these rumors? We've been linked with today. And I'm just going to be going through your comments as you guys try to call in. I'm waiting for your calls. I'll be waiting very, very, very eagerly for your calls. Link is in the comment section. The link is in the comment section. Whoever wants to call in. Thanks for the comments, by the way. I want to thank all those people who have bought me data to be live. And if you want to buy me data, it's as easy as hitting me on my numbers in the description as well. Numbers are in the description. You could just buy me data. However, $1, $2, $3, it's enough for me to keep live streaming on a daily basis. I have been on one of those people. I knew he would be the first caller. I just knew he would be the first caller when the live streams come back. I just knew he would be the first person to call in. And indeed, he's the first person to call in. So I would love to get him on and hear what he has to say. Hello, friend.
Hey, Kosi, how are you doing?
How are you doing?
Fine, G. Long time.
Long time, man. I had this disturbing strike that couldn't let me live stream.
Hope you're good. Hope you're good.
I'm very, very fine. I'm very fine now.
Good.
Yeah, so I think this stream is basically focusing on the right back situation and Arsenal, and I know many of the rumors are trying to show us that um, Arsenal need a right back, because if you remember last season, we were linked with so many midfielders for the fact that our midfield was empty, and we talked about it and we said Arsenal need to get in. Arsenal need to get in, Arsenal need to get in a midfielder because our midfield was literally empty. So we're linked with a vast number of midfielders. And now we've been linked with Hakimi, just that Koutov said, they're saying we could wrap up the deal very, very soon. What are your thoughts on, first and foremost, what are your thoughts on Bellerin and Cedric as our right back priorities?
Yeah, like we know, like Bellerin isn't good enough for this football club. So, like for him to move and for us to raise money is the perfect option. And Cedric, we can put him as a squad player, as a backup right back. So, in my opinion, I don't mind Hakimi. I do rate him. I think he's one of the best fullbacks coming in the future. He's more of a wing back, but he still can play in that system of Mikel Arteta. So I don't mind the transfer, to be honest. But the fees, like for 50 million, I don't know whether we will put 50 million on Hakimi.
Mm. Yeah, but it's a high price. It's a high price, isn't it? Do you think Arsenal will go for that, for that amount of money? Do you think we will do that amount of amount of money for a right back?
Mm, it depends upon the, next season, like how we get into the Europe. If we don't get Champions League football, I don't think so. Like we will spend that money because we don't
Mm.
have that revenue in that. And if we qualify in the Europa League, which I don't think we will even qualify this season, so it won't be that much of money. Only reason I can see is like if we win the Europa League and get it in the Champions League and get the funds in that, which we can see like we can buy the players like Hakimi for this big amount.
Yeah. Let me just ask you if you want if you had to go for Ashraf Hakimi or Tariq Lamptey, because Lamptey for me would be the cheaper option. He's Premier League proven, and I think he has a big future as well as a right back. He's not been bad this season. And then splash, save some money and spend it on either Odegaard or another midfielder. Would you consider dropping Hakimi and then going for Tariq Lamptey, or you want the finished article? Because the difference is Hakimi is the finished article, and Lamptey is still developing as a player.
Yeah, like Hakimi is like 22 years old. Like yeah, almost like 2 years older than Lamte. I don't mind like as Lamte as an option. I think even he's good. But
Mm.
for me, the major concern is that he's now injured. So like we have to look at his injury. His injury, like now Brighton doesn't play with him. So and he is injured for months now. So like we have to be careful about his injury concerns. So and yes, definitely a Premier League proven player can be a top right back in the future, and I don't mind that. It depends. Like if we don't pay big money on Hakimi, I don't mind Lamptey as a second option.
Okay. There's been this deficiency in our squad. I think ever since Hector Bellerin got injured, we've never had a right back. By the way, for facts, I've not seen, in the last 10 years. I've not seen, um, you know, I've not seen an Arsenal. I've not seen an Arsenal right back that is so good. For me, I was not contented so much by Sanya, but he was one player that could actually play for you, season in, season out. Um, do you think if we got Ashraf Hakimi um, and sold Hector Bellerin, because I think that's what we might do, do you think we might need to sell Chambers and Cedric as well and get in another backup that is quality, or you would retain Cedric on Cedric or Chambers?
I will sell Cedric and Bellerin, and like I think we can get a decent amount from selling both, and we will pay the money for Hakimi. Like add a little more, like for 5 to 10 million, you can add some more money, and you can get Hakimi as the player by selling
Oh,
Chambers and Bellerin, and keeping Cedric as a backup.
Okay, Peterson Derrock says Hakimi is the better player. Kosi, big up. Thank you so much. And then Tommy says so badly if Tierney is not available for Europa League. By the way, let's talk about Bino, let's talk about Kian Tierney and his not being available. How much, for you as an Arsenal fan, how much of a blow is this?
Yeah, big blow. Like we have lost like many games without him. So like I won't be surprised like if we lose more games without him because he's an integral part of our squad.
Hmm.
And one of the main mistakes we have done in this January transfer window, like we didn't sign a backup left back. We should have signed at least some one of whether he the guy is average or what. Like we should have signed a backup left back in January, and we haven't signed that, and
Yeah.
it's getting the consequences now. And he's a serial winner. Every year he used to win at least a trophy. So we lost that mentality player, a winning serial mentality player, and it's gonna bite us hard.
Okay, make sure you're smashing the like button, people. Make sure you're smashing the like button. It really adds a lot. And make sure you're commenting with your opinion on these matters because I'm reading comments right now. Make sure you call in as well. The link is in the comment section. I'm going to be there. If you want the link to my WhatsApp group, it's in the description. And if you would like, this show has been sponsored by two people, the data. That is Emmy and Peter the Rock. So if you want to sponsor me for the next show, I'll be very, very glad. Numbers are in the description. You can hit me on WhatsApp and we discuss more. Kiema says, Kosi, what's your WhatsApp group number? It's in the description. It's in the description. There. It's in the description. And I hope you will see it very, very, very soon. Hey man, connect your devices and I'll let you into the studio as well. That's a lot of money for one player. And remember, we need three positions. We need number 8, number 10, number 2, and a left back backup. This is what I've been talking about. Thank you so much, Eric. This is what I've been talking about. That you might want to splash this money, but isn't it too much to splash on one position? Yet you could get a player like Terry Lamptey. What do you think about this, Bino? What do you think about this? Because he's concerned for the fact that this is a lot of money for one position, and Arsenal need almost 4 players in this summer to get back to where we belong.
Yeah, I don't mind like signing Lamte for a cheaper option. Yeah, and we need like 4 positions in the starting 11 itself to fix. We need a left winger, in my opinion. We need an attacking midfielder. We need a
Mm.
central midfielder next to Partey, and we need a right back. So that's almost 4 positions in the starting 11. And like if we fix that starting 11, I think like we can go high places, and then it depends upon the squad backup. So like yeah, we need a backup left back. We need another midfielder backup in my opinion, because like we can't rely on likes of Elneny, uh, that kind of players in our squad next season. And yeah, we need a backup left back as a squad player, and we need to fix 4 main positions which I mentioned in the starting 11.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks everybody in the chat. Thanks everybody for watching. Oh, don't forget, you could also support us by buying us um um a super chat. You could do that. Glenn, big up, Glenn. How are you doing? Yeah, I think you're not get many people are not getting my notifications for the reason I've taken long without streaming, so it's gonna take some time. And I understand. I do really understand. But big up, big up, Glenn. How are you guys? How are you doing, my guy? Because the way I know Arsenal, all those players are highly rated players, and Arsenal can't spend. Also, you know that. Yeah, but we've been surprised. Like I said, and I said this on this stream, that we've been surprised over the last years where Arsenal has splashed some money on Partey. We've splashed some money on Aubameyang. We've splashed some money on Pepe. So probably you never know. And Peter, you do have a big point there. We do not really splash a lot of money. We occasionally splash this money, but you never know. Links are links and reports are reports. Us will never spend that much on a defender. Midfield, yes, only in the end of transfer window they will buy, not of the coach choosing. Yeah, I understand I understand you, Richard Doyle. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I understand where you're coming from. It is better you get a midfielder. Yeah, I know many people are gonna feel like this. Bino, what do you think? Of course, when I saw this, I was like, many people are gonna feel instead of splashing 50 million in a defender, we would rather spend that that on someone like, or on someone like probably Sabaza and or Bisuma. What do you think is the right back position that important as the midfield position these days?
It's a hard one because if you look at the right back position, the most of the goals we considered it's from the right hand side, and in the midfield we just get terrorized in the midfield. Only Partey is the one who can get something, can do something of just we saw the Liverpool game. Only he was trying something in the midfield. Yes, he was average in that game, but still he was the only midfielder I saw driving past or doing something. So, in my opinion, I think it's right back is necessary in my opinion because the right hand side of the defense isn't good. So we used to leak a lot of goals from the right hand side. So in my opinion, a right back who can defend and as well as attack. But Hakimi is more of an attacking right back, and which even caused me some problems with him because yes, he can defend. It's not like he can't defend. He can improve in defense, but we have to look for at a proper right back who can do both the thing, who can do attack as well as the defense.
Yeah, exactly. Welcome, Glenn. How are you guys? How are you doing, my guy?
How are you? I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm so lucky to come back to live streaming. I was getting sick.
Yeah, we are getting sick not watching you as well.
But the first thing, of course, and I want to tell the 20 people watching on this stream that the streams are going to be daily. But Court Offside is not one of the biggest sources to quote out there. But Glenn, what's your reaction on Ashraf Hakimi as a player? Let us leave the old fact that Court Offside is saying Arsenal could be close to getting him and so on. What's your reaction to Ashraf Hakimi as a player, and the price tag of 50 million euros? Is he worth it?
So I think I did how Arsenal could line up a video like a month ago of him, and I'd say, let me tell you, like his numbers in terms of goals and assists is crazy for a fullback. I think like this season alone, he scored almost 10 goals or something and almost double figures assists. He was also recorded as the fastest ever player in Bundesliga. I think I saw that as well. In terms of sprint, he was the fastest player in Bundesliga as well, and that is even with the likes of Alphonso Davies there in that league. So for me, he's a very good player. But again, I think he can only work out for us if we're playing in a back five. Just the same with the way I thought Kolasinac is better in a back five, Bellerin is better in a back five, Niles is better in a back five, Cedric is better in a back five. All those players were always better in a back five. So unless we're changing our formation, because he can't play in a back four, he's nearly almost a midfielder, not even a defender. So unless it's a back five, it's okay. But a back four, it definitely can work for us. But 50 million euros, I think that's a bit more expensive as well. That's too expensive.
Yeah, and for me, that's one of the things that actually hold me back to believe the story, because 50 million pounds it's not euros. It's not something Arsenal is going to spend, on a right back. And if I look at the deal, the way it's structured, because some money has to go back to Real Madrid, it's not going to be less than 40 million pounds. However much we love the player, however much we feel he could be the right player, the quality is there. He is at that level where you want him to be. But no. I just don't believe. Anyway, I think we wait to see. We wait to see what's going to happen. Glenn, the other story is Odegaard being interested in PSG, and I want you guys to talk about this. PSG interested in Odegaard, actually, not Odegaard being interested in PSG. Do you think it is a story, cooked and brought out of the Odegaard camp trying to pressure Arsenal to, be more serious, or it could be true that a couple of other European giants have started looking at Odegaard?
I think it could be true. I think it could be true. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of teams want him. I saw that guy playing against West Ham, and just when we're watching the games live and stuff, you wouldn't notice everything else. But when you watch it back and the tactical analysis and everything, it'd be like, yes, he's a very good player. His positioning, like the other day, against Liverpool, I thought Partey and Odegaard were okay. Now, Odegaard was pressing really well because they had Fabinho playing in that position, and Odegaard was pressing him so that Alisson and Phillips couldn't pass the ball to him. So it was very easy for Liverpool to just make Thiago drop back, and it turned out to be 2 against 1. So Fabinho and Thiago against Odegaard, and he couldn't manage. That's why he was looking very bad, or we didn't see him for the whole game. So he's a very, very good player. Tottenham, Benfica, Olympiacos, all those teams, the way he played against them, very, very good. I didn't know he was going to be this good for us. I thought actually he was going to come and be a backup for Smith Rowe, but I actually really, really love him, and I don't mind Smith Rowe on the left. So I wouldn't be surprised if all those teams want him. PSG, maybe obviously the media trying to spoil it for Arsenal with our good players right now, our only advantages and stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's linked. So it depends on how much they want, but I'll try and sign him, obviously. As long as it doesn't go to any other English club, I'd be very worried.
Yeah, exactly. And their links with Chelsea aren't there.
Yeah, they are. I really hope it doesn't go there because I don't know if Chelsea will sign that many players after spending all that money, because they already have Mount, Havertz, and also their formation. So I'm not worried about Chelsea. But the way Klopp was talking to him the other day, what was he telling him?
Okay. Okay, let's just look at some of the comments in. Yes, it is. Look at the difference Bissaka made at Manchester United. Yeah, I think a good right back is very essential right now. In modern football, very, very, very essential. And all of us would love our clubs to have a good right back. But how much are you going to splash on the table, and how much are you willing to put on the table? Because Arsenal have so many priority areas, and I'm going to ask these two guys. You're gonna see that a right back is important, but our priorities lie, for me, they lie in the midfield. And I'll start with Binu. Binu, let me ask you, if you're just to suggest 2 priorities in this Arsenal side, what are those positions for you?
A midfielder next to Partey and a right back, in my opinion.
A right back and a midfielder next to Partey.
Yeah.
Glenn?
We definitely, I do agree with Benu, by the way. Sorry, disrespectful. Hi, Benu. We need someone next to Partey. As I just said, the other day, Ceballos was so out of position. It was so easy for Thiago and Fabinho to just get the ball away from Odegaard and keep him quiet. So we definitely need someone next to Partey. And the second position would probably be a backup to Tierney, because when Tierney gets injured, you know how bad our left side was the other day. When Tierney goes forward, usually Xhaka covers in that position. So Ceballos couldn't do that, and we didn't have Tierney on the pitch, and now we only had basically Aubameyang that position. And I saw Cedric getting caught out of that position like 4 times, and 2 of them led to their goals. So we definitely need a backup left back, someone to help. So backup left back and someone next to Partey. Believe me, I don't think our strikers have an issue. I don't think Aubameyang is that useless to the point of selling him. So I think we have other problems more than those ones.
Yeah, I agree, by the way. I think our pressing issues are not the striking line. You have Gabriel Martinelli, who is a resource you have not used. You have Balogun, who is a resource you have not used. You have Aubameyang, a resource that you just need to revive and revamp again. You have Alexander Lacazette, who's been, holding the club this season. I mean, miraculously, when everybody's down, he has stepped up, and I would really give him, credit for that. I wouldn't prefer him to stay at the club. Like many Arsenal fans tell me, because you don't like him. No. But for me, the thing is, I think that's a performance that gets you some money in a player like Lacazette, and then you get in the younger striker, or you spend that money, or you reinvest that money in the squad in a more priority area. So, anyway, apart from that, I want us to discuss Lucas Torreira. Torreira has told his agent and the world that he wants to go back to Boca Juniors after the loss of his mother. Glenn, did you see him with a future at Arsenal? Because for me, the moment Mikel Arteta set in the first 5 games, I could see he never had a future with Arsenal.
I did still have hope in him, but I I know when I say remember the game we lost to Aston Villa, you didn't remember because it's like 7, 8 games the last 1 year we've lost to Aston Villa. So I have to specify which one. Last season when we lost to Aston Villa at the end of the season when they beat us 1-0 and we kept them in the league. Troyera played that game and he was awful. Like he was being dominated in that midfield so badly. I was like, this is very worrisome. Obviously, we've not seen him play alongside Partey. That would be interesting. But for me, if he wants to go back because of the personal reasons, you can't blame him. You just let it be. I think we can get better midfielders than him for sure, but you just let it be. Like as long as his personal problems, if he doesn't want to be in England, he's never liked being in England anyway since day one when he was complaining about food in England, like about the transportation in UK, like all that. So you just let it be. I think you can get someone else there. And also, I don't think in the next 10 years anyone would remember Torreira at Arsenal anyway. So I don't think he's had that much of an impact. We'll remember the Tottenham game and that's it. So I think we can get someone better there.
Yeah, exactly. And that reminds me, by the way, that really reminds me. If you're talking about Lucas Torreira, we need to talk about Matteo Guendouzi. But Bino, what do you think about Torreira? Are you gonna miss him? Do you think he needed, another chance at Arsenal, probably next season, like Mohamed Elneny got it?
I think it's time to move on because like he himself said like he wants to go to Boca Juniors. So like I don't think like that kind of mentality is needed for our club because like it's like yes I understand like due to the issues I understand, but I think it's better to move on with him and get some money and like spend it on a top player.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think that is one of the areas where we need an upgrade. We've been talking about upgrades in areas. For me, that is that's the first area. You need an upgrade, in that area next to Thomas Partey. And I think you really need a player who's technically gifted. You don't need a player who is so similar to Partey, and that's why at times I hold back when we are talking about Abisuma. I love him. He's brilliant. He's so good. He's a phenomenal talent. But for me, when we talk about a partner to Thomas Partey, I want someone who's more like a Santi Cazorla kind of player. But let us first talk about Matteo Guendouzi and the future, because I look at Guendouzi as a player who is totally opposite of the Mikel Arteta kind of player. Because Arteta, if you gave Arteta Foden, he would give you his life. Guendouzi is not that kind of player. Guendouzi is a very good player, but totally different from the Mikel Arteta setup. Totally different from the Mikel Arteta, kind of player. He doesn't have that blueprint, of highly pressing football. He wants to distribute the ball like Dennis Burst, but not at a very, very high speed. For me, I rate him a lot, but I don't feel he's going to be a success under Mikel Arteta. But we need to discuss about it because he's been in the news. He has refused to stay at Hertha. He doesn't look like he has a big future at Arsenal in the midfield. What do you think, guys? What do you think? Glenn, what do you think? What do you think about Guendouzi? Does he deserve a chance? Do you think he would eventually fit at Arteta's? He's young. You could mold him into the player you want. What do you think?
Yeah, he definitely deserves a chance. Now, I don't think Guendouzi is a starter for us 38 games out of 38 in the league. But there's usually when you're like 2-1 ahead and there's like 20 minutes remaining, Guendouzi is the type of guy. Okay, when you already have someone like a Xhaka or Partey or Xhaka and Elneny, two defensive midfielders already on the pitch, you can add Guendouzi as the third guy because Guendouzi pressing from front, he can do the job for you. You can just tell him chase around the striker, the defenders, chase around, for example, let's say City, chase around Diaz, chase around Stones, chase them around because he'll run for you for those last 20 minutes and he'll defend from the front. Very important. But I don't think he can have the impact for us from the first minute. But again, just like Torreira, we've not seen him play alongside Partey. So maybe with Partey, it'd be a little bit calmer in the middle. Maybe so I'd give him a chance for next season. For him, I'd bring him back next season and see how he does.
Yeah. Actually, my problem with him, his passing is great. his
Mm,
ability to create, his passing, his ability to create chances from deeper is one of the attributes I like about him. But
yeah.
it looks like Arteta is copying and pasting the Manchester City kind of player, play. The Pep Guardiola blueprint. He wants to paste this at Arsenal, and you don't think Genduzi would play at City, would he?
No, he wouldn't.
No,
He's
he wouldn't.
far, 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 far
Yeah,
off.
yeah, he's far. He's far away from there, and I don't see that blueprint. I don't see it in him unless Ateta could teach it. Teach it in him. He's not that kind of player with that very very sharp pace, and that's what Ateta wants to play. However much it lets him down. The quality of players lets him down. Xhaka is not that fast, and you can see when Partey is moving this midfield, Xhaka is a little bit left behind. And for me, I believe if you want to play a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1 with high press, players like Martin Odegaard, players like Emily Smith Rowe, those players that could actually adjust their pace, make it sharp, make it blunt at any point in time. Those are the kind of players you need. But Benny, what do you think about Genduzi? He was one of our best performers last season, part one, with Unai Emery around. If I'm not mistaken, he was holding that midfield, and I still remember. I was like, I can't believe Genduzi is holding our midfield solely as a player. He was charged with creating the chances. Was charged with doing everything. What are your thoughts been on Genduzi?
Yeah, I think I will give him one more chance next season if he comes, and if he doesn't comes or maybe any issues I wouldn't mind him selling him. But I think he's a good squad player for us. Like if anyone one of the midfielders is injured, like you can put him in there and play in some games and play in the cup games like Carabao, FA Cup, or in the Europa League games. So that would be good for me. Yeah, I would give him one more chance, and we'll test once more whether he's can be a good asset to the squad.
One
Um,
more chance. You
one
really
more
made
chance.
me happy when you said one. You know that song, One More Chance? You really reminded me of that song, Bean. Go ahead, cuz.
Big up Emeka in the chat. Big up Jacob in the chat. Big up Mose in the chat. How are you doing, my brother? Empire Online TV. Big up. Love Football. Big up. Thank you so much for people. You people for supporting me. We're just back, and like I said, these live streams are going to be on and on and on and on. In the last 8 minutes, I just want us to wrap up with the injury crisis at Arsenal, as well as talk about the embarrassing defeat against Liverpool. With my two friends here, Glenn, we lost that game and we didn't appear, but now for the past two games we have not been starting. Against West Ham in the first 30 minutes, Arsenal was not on that pitch. And in my match reaction, I said, what if you play a team like Liverpool, where you're not going to get a chance to bounce back? It happened. What is so wrong, Glenn? Why do we have either the first 30 minutes when we are off, or we have 30 minutes in the game when we switch off and we are completely off? What do you think is wrong? What is
You
so
know,
wrong?
you know what? I was so mad that to the point of, start with Binux because I need to turn my camera on for this part of the show. Give me 2 minutes.
Okay. Then let me.
Okay.
Yes, Bino.
Yeah, it was embarrassing. I didn't predict I don't think even the Liverpool fans have predicted they will win 3-0.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
think so anyone because due to their form and due to their season, so I don't think anyone would have expected that. But I did expect we might either lose by one nil, or maybe nick a draw or nick a win by 2-1. But 3-0 was honestly embarrassing because did we have a shot on target? I think only the Cedric shot. I think so. We went into the target, and it was Alisson. Yeah, give me the ball. I will see. Let me do some exercise. Only that is a shot on target for us. That game. I don't know why Arteta has set up that game with two defensively. We could have started that game like how we started against Tottenham. like just do the free flowing attacking football and then create some chances, but instead we hold on back, we sit down, and it backfired us. Like it's 3-0 at especially at our home stadium. It isn't acceptable in my opinion.
Yeah, but you know, I just can't believe, the way we were, we were caught by Liverpool at, in our own pitch. It's like we were away from home. They pressed us from minute one to minute 90. They played a high line. They exposed our, our weaknesses. They did everything in that game, and we never had anything to do offensive wise. We never had anything to do offensive wise. Oh, we had to defend from minute one to minute 90. I just can't believe. I just can't believe what really went down on that. And I've tried to watch this game again, and I just can't explain what really happened down there. Arsenal up against Liverpool. I just don't know. I hope this performance really doesn't really, come back. I just hope it doesn't come back. But Glenn, what were your points there? What did you really, take home in that from that game? Because for me, I just looked at a summary of what our season has been. Switch off in games, don't appear in some games, players failing to pass, simple, ordinary, 10-yard, 2-yard pass. You fail, Chambers, everyone failing to pass, to make that, ordinary pass. You have Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang ball watching, moving around the pitch as if he's celebrating his son's birthday. What were your What were your take homes in that one?
First of all, one of the reasons I always support Arteta, you guys know I'm Arteta in and stuff, is since he joined us, I think this is the third time that we've lost by a 3-goal margin. So usually we don't lose by a 3-goal margin. It's usually, in fact, I think from the 12 defeats this season, I think like 9 of them are by 1 goal, which is a good thing. We never get hammered. Back in the day under Wenger, we used to get hammered badly against Liverpool and City, 5 goals, 8 goals sometimes, 10 goals sometimes against Bayern. So it used to be bad. So I never expect Arsenal to lose by 3 goals or 4-0 these days. Maybe because we play too defensively and some people are not happy with that. But starting Chambers, for me, I did not like that. The last time we lost to Liverpool at home, back in 2016, guess who was at the back? Chambers and Holding. So starting the both of them again, since then we've never lost to Liverpool at home. But then we decided to go with the same team again. I know why it started Chambers, he played well against West Ham, that's fine. But against Liverpool, Mane, Robertson, I'm not confident in Chambers. Although he didn't make any bad mistakes, everyone's passing was off. Again, I've mentioned Ceballos in midfield. Odegaard was covering Fabinho very well, and all they had to do is just to drop back Thiago, and they had 2 men against 1. And also Firmino comes back to midfield, which makes it 3 against 1 for them. So that was very bad. So tactically, just watching that game, you're like, yeah, this is bad. Missing Xhaka in the midfield, he can play on the left side as well as at left back when Tierney goes forward. That was bad as well. So I didn't understand why he didn't create any chances, man, against a defense that they're not used to that defense. So creating a chance against them, I was even calling for starting Aubameyang and Lacazette as a front to play a 4-4-2 just because their defense is so bad and we didn't create anything. So that was not amusing as well. So there was a lot of stuff. Leno looking very shaky against West Ham. He didn't score the goal. He didn't save the second shot from Bowen. The other day against Salah, very easy finish for Salah. So a lot of mistakes. Gabriel looked very shaky. And what you've said about passing the ball, we could not pass the ball. And we lost every single second ball. Every single one. Very bad. And I don't like Aubameyang there. So everything was just wrong about that game.
10 yards, passing the ball in 10 yards, passing the ball in 5 yards. It couldn't happen. We couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And I'm still asking myself, what the hell was going on on that football pitch? What were we doing? But anyway, things do happen. Let's talk about some of the injuries there. Let's talk about first and foremost Kentin, because for me, this is the biggest injury, and this is the last topic we'll talk about. Then I'll sign out because my lights have started going off. But Tierney is out, and we don't have a backup. What are our chances? What are our chances on the Europa League, Glenn, without Tierney playing? As our left fullback.
I'm worried. I'm slightly worried. Okay, I don't think Cedric is very terrible. I think if you have some, it's just because it was Liverpool. You cannot play Cedric Aubameyang and Sabias on the left side when you're playing against Liverpool. You're going to be in trouble. So if you're missing one player in Tierney, I don't know if Saka will be fit. If Saka is ahead of, let's say, Cedric, that's fine. We'll probably be able to sort that out. But if both of them are missing, we're going to be in trouble. So I think here we have to use the tactic of just scoring as many goals as we need. We need to score 3 or 4. And if they score 1 or 2, we need to get 4 goals. So I don't think we can. I don't think that's a good one. Bino, by the way, it's a history of the Tottenham. I know that's Chiellini. So I think it would be good if we score 4 goals or something like that, by the way. So I'm hoping. I don't think we'll keep a clean sheet against Slavia Prague. I don't think so. So for our chances, I still think we'll beat Slavia Prague over 2 legs. The next round, I'm not sure they will beat Villarreal or Dinamo Zagreb. So we just have to hope. We just have to hope.
Thanks everybody in watching on the show. Thanks everybody. Smash the like button. That makes a lot of sense for me. And get in your comments as well on the stream. I want to know. Big up Davis. I want to just send some shouts to Davis. Big up Mohit. Big up Mose. Big up. Says Low Geduzi can't play anywhere in the EPL. Mohit says, what's the news on Hakimi? I'm just gonna give you that. Arteta should revise himself in lineup setup. By the way, we should. I'm going to ask the guys to talk about that in a minute. If you're asking Hakimi, Court offside saying Arsenal will wrap up that deal in no time, ASAP, as soon as possible. So let us wait to see whether there is any truth in that, whether really Arsenal will go for Achraf Hakimi in no time. I would love to see it as a deal that happens. It will be interesting. But the fact that Mikel Arteta doesn't have a lineup, a starting lineup, especially the centre-back pairing, Glenn, I've been fuming. I think that for the past 4 match reactions, I've said, why doesn't Arsenal have 2 centre-backs that play together consistently? But we have players who play together well, but they never seem to be, for Arteta, they never seem to be those players that get in there and they can play match in, match out. Do you think that has affected our season? Because I think for the first, ever since Fulham, the opening game, till now, I've seen so many different teams, and for me that's the reason as well you don't have that chemistry between the players and we are playing. But what do you think? Do you think it's one of the reasons why we're struggling for consistency?
Oh yeah, definitely. You do need a consistent backup line. The last 5 players, back 5, you need to keep it consistent for the whole season. Now, there's 2 times. Okay, for most of the season, he's been unlucky. That is why I do believe he's been unlucky with the injuries. We've missed Partey for almost 60% of the season. We've missed Gabriel for like 40% of it. Tierney is now injured. Cedric has been injured almost half of the season as well. Pablo Mari has been injured half of the season. So that's why it's very bad for us. Gabriel has been suspended. I think Pablo Mari, I think he's also had the illness and stuff. So that's unlucky. But in terms, there's only 2 times that I've looked at it and I was like, why did he do that? Because the first game against Liverpool at Anfield, Gabriel was fit and he didn't start. And then I think there's a game, I don't know if it was Wolves or Aston Villa, one of these games that we lost recently. Gabriel was fit and he decided to put him on the bench. So that one I didn't like. I think Gabriel and Lewis are our best centre-backs right now. I think they need to play Gabriel and Holding look bad together. I've seen it against Aston Villa, where I've seen it recently. They have no communication. Holding and Pablo Mari surprisingly look good together. Gabriel and Lewis surprisingly look good together. I don't know. I'm actually thinking we'll have to go back to a back 5. I know we hate it, but if Tierney is injured and Lewis is out, we have to go back to a back 5. That is because I need Gabriel and Pablo Mari on that pitch at the same time. And maybe try and fit Chambers as a centre-back instead of a right-back and then try it out that way, because the back 4, I don't think Gabriel and Holding will work for us against all those teams. Yes, we have easier fixtures in the league. I think Fulham, Sheffield, Newcastle, Brighton. But in the league, what we've seen this season, there's no easy fixture. So for me, unlucky with the injuries for the centre-backs. But I know what you're saying. We need to have a consistent backup line for us, because if you don't have, you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, definitely. You're very, very, very right. Anyway, let me just listen from Binu, and then we shall end it at this. Thanks everybody who's been in the chat. Alma Zidik, thank you so much. Felix Twebaze, thank you so much. Mohit Kumal, Mose, Davis Ahereza, Peterson DeRock, thank you so much. Gay Allen, Guy, okay. Thank you so much. Says your course is Alan from Entebbe, Uganda. Thank you so much. How is Lucas playing there from ATM? I think he's struggling. He's struggling at Atletico Madrid because they're having a fantastic season. They're going to win the league if they fight hard. They can win the league. And they have had a fantastic season, and he's not been part of that phenomenal. I think he was brought in for issues of squad depth. I think that's what Atletico Madrid wanted to use him for, and at the end he will go back to Boca Juniors. Binu, what is your thought on Mikel Arteta not having a first lineup for a whole season?
You can't just give him excuses like this not having injuries and all, because like when I am even had many injuries in my opinion, because like he had some of the squads injuries, and he even had a worse score than Arteta in my opinion, and he still managed to finish fifth and a Europa League final. And and you can't even blame you can't even give an excuse for Arteta for this individual mistake, because if you look at Emery's first season, 21 mistakes was caused by the players. That 21 points has been lost by the individual errors itself. So like you can't keep on giving the excuses. Yes, uh, he should have given a award from the board, or like a number 10 from the board, and he didn't get it, which I get it. And there was no Emile Smith Rowe because he was injured at that time. I understand that, but but now from now onwards, you can keep on giving these excuses, because the resources you have now, I expect him to do better.
Okay, we have another person. Hello, Natsu. How are you doing?
Hi, how are you doing? Good.
I'm very, very good. How are you doing?
Good.
Okay, what are your comments on all what we've discussed? Because I know you want to say something, and I'm ready to listen to you.
So I will say Arteta should be more creative players next summer. We need 5 or 6 players creativity. So the board is for me, by my opinion, the board is no good. They don't need spend money to creative players. Always, if you don't this, we can't bag. We need almost like 200 million pound if we need a win to back big team. For me, I am trust Mikel Arteta 100%. He's one of the good managers. I don't need to sack, because if they sack it, they will be wrong. So he's good. The problem is from the board. So I would say we need to spend money to creative players. The players are not good enough, so we need more like 5 and 6 more players next summer. That's good for me.
Okay, Nati says the players are not good. We need to splash the money around 200 plus million. Something that Kroenke, if Kroenke had those comments,
Yeah.
he would be. I don't know what kind of meme I would use if I was Kroenke, but I just have a couple of memes in my head. But you're right, by the way, and people, please keep clicking on the like button. Keep clicking on the like button. It will take us to where we were and where we want to be. Like I said, 50 subs this year is our target, and we have to hit it come what may. So, I want to agree with you, Natu, that the players we have need an upgrade. We need upgrades in so many areas, but the money you're talking about is. Let me tell you something, Natu. From 2008 to 2017, we spent 236 million altogether. So it's hard, it's for me, it's hard to believe with the financial situation we are in as a club that we're going to splash money that that we spend across a period of 10 years, that we're going to spend it in one summer, in 3 months. For me, that would be it's practically impossible. Glenn, what do you think? Do you think Arsenal would, could get that, favor from Kroenke now that FFP has been scrapped? Probably we could see some 200 million, spent in the summer.
Oh, he has to. If he doesn't, he'll be in a lot of trouble next season. I think even with his business, he needs to be very careful because we're dropping off badly, and there's still so many positions we need to sort out. Remember, our best player right now is here on loan. Or if Odegaard leaves, we're back into like the same position because right now Smith Rowe and Saka are out, and we look very ordinary. We look like a 16th or 17th place team. So without those three players in the team, we're in big trouble. I see what Kennedy is saying in the chat about Ateta being the problem. I have never said that Ateta is not to blame for some few issues. He's not to blame for 100%. Especially those individual mistakes. I can count 10 individual mistakes from the last five games. Like Ceballos like 3 times in the Europa League, Cedric against Aston Villa, Gabriel twice against Liverpool the other day, literally giving away the ball to I think Alexander Arnold for both goals. The red cards, I know, discipline issue, Shaka, Gabriel, all of them, Pepe picking up red cards this season, putting us in trouble in every single game. Yes, you might say, oh yeah, they're not listening to it and all that, but you can't blame him for everything. And I still do believe he's been unlucky in some situations, like Partey being injured for the whole season. That was the guy who was supposed to come and change our lineup, and he was injured for 70% of the season. So we literally had the same squad as last season or 5 years ago. El Neni, I still believe, should not be an Arsenal player right now. I don't believe Xhaka should be an Arsenal player by now. I don't think the likes of Chamber should still be Arsenal players by now. So there's still like 6-7 players who need to go. We got rid of many, Socrates, Mustafi, Jenkins for last season. So for me, I still want to give him this transfer window and see which kind of players he'll get rid of and which players he'll bring. All that said, I still do blame him for a few things, but I did say before Tottenham, we are only going to lose one game between now and the end of the season. So we've lost to Liverpool. So I still stick by that for everyone watching. I still think that's the last Premier League game we've lost this season. I'm hoping.
Thanks everybody who has called in. Thank you, Glenn, for coming on. Thank you so much. Thank you, Bino, for coming on. Thank you so much, and thank you for Natu for coming on, Natu. Thank you so much. Really makes a lot of sense when I discuss with you guys. I want to get your opinions, and it gives me a lot of company on these shows. So this show was sponsored by two people who gave me data. That was Peterson DeRoe and Mutsinzi Emi. They bought the data, and we were able to come live. If you want to buy me some data, use the numbers in the description. It's as simple as that. You can hit me on my WhatsApp, and then we could talk about it. You could just send me some little as simple as that. But thank you so much. The comments mean a lot to me, by the way, and the likes. So smash the like button before you leave. 30 plus people watching. Before you leave, smash the like button, and I will see you very, very soon. As always, come on, you Gunners.